Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us for this conversation today about comprehensive genomic profiling and the important role it can play in the treatment of rare cancers. I'm Jim Palma, and I'm the Executive Director of TargetCancer Foundation, which is a rare cancer research and patient support foundation based in Cambridge, Massachusetts. For those of you who are new to Target Cancer, I'd like to tell you just a little bit about the work that we do. Target Cancer Foundation was founded by a patient who was my brother-in-law, Paul Poth, in 2009 after his diagnosis with cholangiocarcinoma. And Paul faced what so many patients with rare cancers face, and that's a lack of effective treatments, as well as a general lack of research. So in response to this, Paul founded Target Cancer Foundation himself. And after he passed away in 2009, his family continued the work that he started. Over the past 11 years, Target Cancer Foundation has been dedicated to funding basic research into rare cancers, but last month we announced a major step forward in our work. Our Target Rare Cancer Knowledge, or TRACK study, is an innovative clinical study that brings advances in precision medicine to people living with rare cancers and their treating physicians. Patients enrolled in TRACK receive comprehensive genomic profiling of their tissue and their blood, and then receive treatment recommendations from an expert molecular tumor board. In addition, TRACK utilizes remote consenting so that patients can enroll in the study from wherever they live with no requirement to travel or change their doctor. Finally, the data generated by TRACK will contribute to research in often understudied rare cancers. We're very proud to partner with our research collaborator, Foundation Medicine, a leading molecular information company, on this study. And we're also proud to be working with our academic investigators, including Drs. Rizal Kurzrock of UCSD, Vivek Sabaya of MD Anderson, James Cleary of Dana-Farber, and Roman Groisberg of Rutgers. Today, I'm joined by Dr. Prasanth Reddy, Vice President of Medical Affairs at Foundation Medicine, to talk more about how comprehensive genomic profiling can be used to identify the unique molecular alterations in each patient's cancer and potentially match them with relevant targeted therapies, immunotherapies, and clinical trials. Dr. Reddy, I'm excited to have the chance to speak with you today about how Foundation Medicine plays such an important role in TRACK.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you. So maybe just to start, it would be great if you could tell us a little bit more about Foundation Medicine in general and the work that you do in getting comprehensive genomic profiling to patients.
Jim, absolutely. Foundation Medicine is a molecular information company that's been dedicated to transforming the standard of care for advanced cancer patients. Ultimately, our goal is to help connect physicians to their patients and get them to the appropriate targeted cancer treatments based on the genomic drivers of each patient's unique disease. To that effect, we can rely on the most robust cancer genomic data set in the world. This data set helps us learn from every patient and ultimately impacts both outcomes and treatment development for future patients. Foundation Medicine is committed to innovation in personalized healthcare, including advancing the field through novel research partnerships, such as TRACK. Foundation Medicine got involved with the TRACK study for several reasons. TRACK provides doctors and patients with information related to treatment options informed by comprehensive genomic profiling. Additionally, the creation of this novel research framework supports decision-making and will result in learnings about the role of CGP in the patient journey of rare cancer patients. This mission mirrors our commitment to advancing decision insights and providing doctors with important tools and information to make the most informed treatment decisions for their patients.
Great. Thank you. So for patients who may be watching and people who might be thinking about how this testing would be used in their own treatment, can you talk a little bit about exactly how oncologists might utilize a Foundation Medicine report as a tool when they map out a patient's treatment?
Yeah, absolutely. Foundation Medicine has a portfolio of comprehensive genomic profiling tests to help identify those molecular alterations in a patient's cancer. These alterations can then be targeted through different treatments as opposed to sometimes standard of care approaches that are not necessarily targeted on these genomic findings. And as we know today, it's generally accepted that cancer is a disease of the genome, and targeting these genomic alterations allows for a more personalized approach for each patient. Our two FDA-approved tests, both Foundation One CDX and now more recently Foundation One Liquid CDX, offers oncologists options to consider depending on each patient's clinical situation. For example, Foundation One Liquid CDX is a liquid biopsy, which requires only 2 tubes of blood and can make sense for patients with hard to biopsy tumors, or perhaps patients who are too sick to undergo invasive procedures or surgery. Additionally, Foundation One CDX allows for a very comprehensive, highly validated test that's based on tissue biopsy results. And it's critically important to have high quality results. And as I mentioned earlier, both of these tests are FDA approved. Additionally, once a patient's blood or tissue biopsy sample is processed, these test results are actually delivered in an integrated report. And that actually helps identify alterations matched to FDA approved therapies. And physicians can use this report to explore those relevant targeted therapies as well as immunotherapies, and then consider whether this is a standard of care option or potentially a clinical trial option for their patients.
Great, thank you. So more and more we're hearing about approvals for targeted therapies happening in many different types of cancers. So we know that comprehensive genomic profiling is important in all cancers, but the TRACK study focuses exclusively on rare cancers, which we're defining as 6 per 100,000 per year in the US, or cancer of unknown primary. So while we know that it's important for all cancers, can you talk a little bit about why comprehensive genomic profiling is especially important in rare cancers, or certainly in cancer of unknown primary?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, in general, what's interesting is that the TRACK trial in particular is going to bring new insights into the biology and the molecular landscape of rare cancers. And so essentially CGP is going to allow for enrollment in the TRACK style study, and it'll essentially allow for a personalized approach to the treatment planning of these patients. Additionally, there's some unique features of how CGP can be applied in multiple time points, through which we're going to get additional information as to how to alter the patient's treatment planning, not just at the initial time point, but through the course of their disease journey. And additionally, I would point out that as we look at how to make these treatment decisions, the TRACK trial also offers a unique opportunity to have a virtual molecular tumor board made up of field-leading oncologists, pathologists, surgeons, other experts that are going to recommend these treatment options based on those CGP results to the local treating physician, and therefore hopefully getting the best treatment for each individual patient based on those findings.
Great. So you talked a little bit about the generation of research data. And of course, as I mentioned at the beginning, a major part of our mission has been bringing research to rare cancers that are otherwise understudied. So can you talk a little more about how the research data generated through genomic testing generally, but also through studies like TRACK, will help to lead to better treatment options for patients?
Yeah, absolutely, Jim. So as we mentioned just a second ago, the TRACK trial, again, is going to bring a lot of new insights into the biology and molecular landscape of rare tumors. And the remote consenting of this study is also another unique feature that's going to expand the geographic reach and encompass more patients in the community setting. Keep in mind that approximately maybe 80% of patients are treated in the community. It's critically important that these new innovative therapies get to the hands of physicians that are treating the patients in the community setting. And so this kind of protocol is going to allow researchers to have a broader look at advanced cancer patients, and the results will hopefully help us spot trends which are going to inform treatment recommendations for future patients as well. As we talked about earlier, Foundation Medicine is going to be performing the genomic profiling on these patients when they first enroll in TRACK, and again at multiple time points over a 1 to 2 year period. And ultimately, TRACK is aiming to provide each patient's treatment care team which these individualized treatment recommendations that are going to be informed by this genomic analysis. And as I said earlier, part of this is going to be augmented by, a field of, field leading oncologists, pathologists, and other experts through a molecular tumor board that will then provide those treatment options to a local treating physician.
Great, thank you. So just a few more questions. One last one about the study is that, I think one of the things that makes TRACK unique is the extent to which it really represents a true partnership between advocacy, an organization like TargetCancer Foundation, Foundation Medicine, as well as all of our academic researchers, and then in turn, all of the different organizations and patients and people that we'll partner with on this study. So I was wondering if you could just talk a little bit more about how this type of a partnership can really help to advance progress for patients, and especially patients with rare cancers.
Yeah, that's a great question. And really, it's going to take a village. I mean, really, there's multiple stakeholders in the oncology ecosystem. And really, it's this partnership between, advocacy, such as TargetCancer, Foundation Medicine, researchers, patients, to move cancer medicine forward. And certainly at Foundation Medicine, we're dedicated to advancing cancer research and care. And we're always eager to work with great partners like TargetCancer and all of the talented investigators you already mentioned, such as Dr. Kurzrock and Dr. Sabaya. So we recognize that no one organization can do this alone, and transforming precision cancer care for all patients now and in the future really requires an authentic patient-centered collaboration. And we believe sharing genomic information is going to be essential to the advancement of precision medicine. And we believe that this can help accelerate research and drug discovery. And we're really looking forward to the collective learnings from TRACK.
Well, we certainly agree. So, maybe just to wrap up, one last question, and this is one that we hear a lot about from the community that we work with, from patients and others, as we really start to raise awareness of comprehensive genomic profiling and why it's so important. And that's around the difference between genomic testing, which we're focusing on, and genetic testing, which so many people hear about, certainly through the availability of many, many different tests and in other ways. So I was wondering if you could just talk a little bit about the difference between genomic testing or comprehensive genomic profiling, which people might get within the TRACK study, and genetic testing.
Yeah, another great question, Jim. And so there is a clear distinction here. So when we're talking about genomic testing, we're really talking about looking at the mutations in the tumor itself. Whereas genetic testing specifically looks at germline or inherited mutations that are going to be found in all cells in the body. Foundation medicine testing is genomic testing, which is again going to be looking specifically at the mutations in the DNA of a tumor specifically. And so these genomic mutations may have been inherited, or they may have been acquired over the course of a patient's lifetime. And we actually do identify both kinds of mutations, but we don't distinguish between the two. The mutations in the tumor are specifically what may impact the tumor growth, spread, as well as potentially response to therapy. And so these mutations are what we report to help doctors decide the best course of treatment for their patients.
Great. Well, thank you for that. That's very helpful information, and certainly a message that we want to continue to get out to help people understand the difference and what the real need is here, especially as they're diagnosed with a rare cancer. So with that, I'd like to thank you, Dr. Reddy, for taking the time to talk today about comprehensive genomic profiling and the TRACK study. Again, all of us at TargetCancer Foundation are really thrilled and proud to be working with Foundation Medicine on this. And we're really excited to get going on the study. It's been a long road to get here, and we're now really ready to launch and start this work. So we're excited to work with you and looking forward to continuing this conversation as time goes on. So thank you again.
Yeah, thank you, Jim.
And certainly I hope people watching will know and will join us at our virtual gala, which is coming up on Thursday, September 24th. This talk today is part of the activities that we've planned in the lead up to the gala. Of course, our gala isn't in person this year, it's virtual like everybody else, but we've put together a great program and we hope everybody watching will join us to sort of join our community and hear more about what we're doing. So that's Thursday, September 24th, and you can register and learn more at our website at targetcancerfoundation.org/gala. So many thanks again.